Welcome to the Infowars Nightly News. I'm David Knight, and it's Monday, May the 5th, 2014. War, drug smuggling, arms smuggling. Yeah, it's your government at work. It's business as usual, but it's becoming more and more overt and less covert. Look at this report out of the Ukraine from Kurt Nemo on Infowars today. CIA and FBI work with fascists in Ukraine as the war in Europe unfolds. Now, we're not just bandying terms around. We talk about fascists. The National Security and Defense Council boss of the Ukraine, Parubi, was the founder of the Social National Party of Ukraine, a fascist political group. In other words, like the Nazis, National Socialists. Why do they use these guys? Well, it's because after they get criminal elements like Nazis or like al-Qaeda terrorists to do what they want to for regime change, it's very easy to dump these guys because everybody knows they're criminals. So they're doing it yet again. But look at what else is involved here in the Ukraine. This renewed effort to assert control and defeat anti-junta activists and paramilitarists in eastern Ukraine coincides with news that the CIA and the FBI will work with the regime to put down popular uprisings against the Kiev government. Now, of course, who are you going to call when you need COINTELPRO? You're going to get the people who've been doing it for decades, for generations, essentially the FBI. The FBI is not primarily or just a crime lab, as the public tends to think of it here. They are experts at infiltrating with COINTEL programs and subverting any dissidents. That's what they've been doing for decades in the United States. They are experts at it. So that's why our domestic law enforcement federal agency is now at operation in the Ukraine. But as we saw last week when Tosh Plumlee talked to Alex Jones about even going back to the Iran-Contra controversy, the scandal that was involved with that, and bringing it forward into Benghazi, we see that arms and drugs have been smuggled for decades by the American government. A story comes out of the New York Times today that the arms cache is most likely being kept in Texas by the CIA. Now, this is a series of investigative reports that are being done by retired CIA analyst Alan Thompson. This was linked on the Drudge Report. It's the New York Times reporting this. For a long time, there was this place referred in CIA documents as the Midwest Depot. And it was involved in Iran-Contra and appears to be involved in arms shipments from post-2001, 9/11 to today. But the question is, where is this Midwest Depot? It appears that it's in Texas, near San Antonio. Now, the article points out that this first came to light with some lawsuits that were brought by a CIA official who had been living at that base, Camp Stanley, they believe it is now, in government-owned housing, and his family became very sick. And so they were trying to get some relief for that. It was environmentally contaminated, and their possessions were destroyed, but they put a gag order on the family, would not let them talk about it. The son, however, wanted to talk about his experiences, wanted to get a book and a movie deal, and he said, "You can't gag me. I haven't signed any agreements. I don't have any security clearances. This is something that happened to me. I can talk about it." So it started to come out that CIA employees were at Camp Stanley. And so they're asking questions. How many of the AK-47s and the RPG-7s that we see Islamists waving around today passed through the Midwest Depot on their way to quote-unquote freedom fighters throughout the last decades? And they point out that a 1986 memo by Colonel Oliver North in the Iran-Contra affair referred to the Midwest Depot, Texas. They're putting all this together, and here's the bottom line, folks. Things are not changing. They said just last July, the Army sought to purchase 2 million rounds of ammunition of caliber that fits AK-47s. Our military doesn't use AK-47s. And of course, there are massive construction projects going down there right now, a building boom, as they put it, of new warehouses. Nothing has changed. We still see criminal actions, covert actions. They're doing it essentially openly, and yet nobody has a problem with it, just as they don't have a problem with the IRS being used to go after political enemies. Now, finally, the drug aspect. And of course, we know that in Afghanistan, the CIA is involved in helping to run the drug war. We see the U.S. military is helping to guard the poppy fields. We know that the CIA has been running not only cocaine out of South America, but they're also running heroin out of Afghanistan. Now we see something else with the FDA. We actually have something called heroin in a capsule. That's what they're referring to, Zohydro, a new drug that the FDA wants to see legalized, but that state and federal lawmakers are working very hard to try to get it banned. It's been called a heroin in a capsule by its opponents. It is a very powerful opiate. Now, why would they do this? Well, the FDA says that they want to do this because they have compassion for people who are suffering pain. Now, I agree, we ought to have compassion for people who are suffering pain, and we ought to make pain medication available to them. Yet, look at the difference in the attitude between legalizing a very potent form of opiate to people that they've called essentially a heroin, and look at their opposition to medical marijuana. They oppose medical marijuana, yet they want to push heroin in a capsule. This is what the federal government is doing. Now, of course, they have bumper crops since the Americans have been in Afghanistan. It went from 10% of the world's opium supply to 90% of the opium supply. Maybe they're trying to recruit new customers. Maybe they're trying to find something to do with this surplus opium. They can give it to people in a pill here in America with the FDA's blessing. Now, finally, look at this bill out of Florida. We're talking about contradictions in terms, talking about governments doing exactly the opposite of what they say they're going to do. Here we have a Florida bill that's going to allow law licenses for non-citizens. Actually, not just non-citizens, but people who are here illegally. Now, last year, in March, the Supreme Court in Florida ruled that people that are in this country illegally could not get a law license. So what did the Republicans do? Well, they passed a bill, and the Republican governor is going to sign it to allow people who are here illegally to practice law. Now, just remember, it was just last week that we're talking about the situation at the border and the out-of-control border situation, the border guards who are running roughshod over the ranchers' farms, and how they're not really patrolling the border, but they're damaging the property of private property of ranchers and harassing people as far as 100 miles inside the border, attacking women, getting lawsuits put against them for multiple cases of attacking helpless people. And of course, we had a vice president of the Fraternal Order of Retired Border Patrol Officers, and he pointed out that they're actually hiring illegal aliens to patrol the border. He says they're taking 2 to 3 years to do background checks on them, and they know that a lot of these people are illegals. So we see not only irony, but an amazing hypocrisy. And speaking of that, today is Cinco de Mayo, a Mexican holiday, and we've seen amazing turnaround where students in California are being banned from wearing American flag T-shirts on Cinco de Mayo. And we see a group protesting that. And as you can see in this article from Paul Joseph Watson, there is a patriot group that is protesting the ban on American flag T-shirts on Cinco de Mayo. So that's California. What's the attitude here in Texas? Well, we sent Infowars reporters out to the streets of Austin to find out. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with those reports.
I'm down in downtown Austin today trying to find out why people think it's racist to wear an American flag shirt and or be an American on Cinco de Mayo. Let's see what people around here have to say. Did you hear about the ban on American flag T-shirts during Cinco de Mayo?
No.
I mean, how does that make you feel? I mean, we're in America, right? We should be able to wear whatever we want.
Whenever we want. Yeah, absolutely.
Do I offend you wearing this right now?
Not at all.
And why is that?
Pride.
Pride in what?
Country.
Well, do you eat Mexican food?
When I can.
So when you can, you're a racist? No. There's people that are saying that if you don't eat Mexican food, you're a racist. We think that's pretty ridiculous.
I think they're just stupid if they don't eat it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just delicious. I mean, there shouldn't be anything tied to it. I mean, sometimes you want a taco. So did you hear that in California, they banned the wearing of an American T-shirt such as this for the students? So if you had a kid in California, he went to school today wearing an American flag T-shirt, he would be sent home.
I heard that. I saw that on the internet.
That's pretty ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
I mean, you know, what are we coming to right now in this country when we can't even walk around and be patriotic and have pride for our own country?
I think it's okay for certain people to expound certain views. But if
we're not going to go to Mexico and start raising up American flags and then, you know, not expect for them to be a little teed off about that.
Well, the only ones over there are the drug dealers. Everyone else is coming over here, and I don't blame them.
Yeah.
I don't blame them over here. I love Latinas. But anyway, that's all I'll say.
That's a whole nother story.
That's a whole nother story.
Well, thank you. Go America.
You guys take care.
Rock out. Recent reports are saying that if you don't eat Mexican food, you're racist.
Yeah. No.
Did you hear about the ban in California for students to wear American flag T-shirts on Cinco de Mayo, and that Wells Fargo's also ordered the lower of all American flags on Cinco de Mayo?
Huh. It's horrible.
I mean, how does that make you feel? I mean, aren't you a proud American?
I am. If I wanted to be a Mexican, I'd go to Mexico.
Did you hear about in California that they are banning students from coming into school on today if they have an American flag t-shirt on? I mean, we're in America. I mean, is that not pretty ridiculous?
That is ridiculous.
And did you hear that Wells Fargo lowered their flags nationwide today for Cinco de Mayo? I mean, we are in America. Why is this going on?
I don't know. You tell me.
I think it's just ridiculous. I mean, that's the most un-American thing that can happen. I mean, it'd be like me marching into Mexico right now on 4th of July and saying, hey, I got my flag up. You guys take your flag down. Let's meet in the middle. I mean, do you think they're going to fly with that?
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we're out here doing. We're trying to figure out why they think it's okay. And did you know that they're going around saying that if you don't eat Mexican food, you are racist? How ridiculous is that?
That's ridiculous.
On how many
Food
levels?
is spicy.
Yeah, I mean, it's delicious.
Some people don't like spicy food.
I know, I mean,
Personally, I love spicy food.
but I mean, if you don't want to eat it, it shouldn't make you racist, though, right?
No.
I mean, it's just food.
Yeah.
Do I offend you wearing this today?
This flag?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Wells Fargo was ordered to take down their American flag on Cinco de Mayo. Do you think that's a good thing or no?
No, I don't think that's a good thing at all. This is America. We should fly the flag anytime and anywhere we wish.
And did you also hear about the school in Oklahoma or in California that banned the wear of American flag T-shirts like this by their students?
I think that they need to serve and realize just how important it is for people to express their right to dress however they wish. You know, I mean, this is America, isn't it?
Yes, it is. What is your input on the ban in California schools for students? If they show up,
why are they banned?
A court okayed it. Let me see the article.
Why were they banned?
Because they said that it is controversial and it brought up tension for students if they were to wear an American flag T-shirt on Cinco de Mayo.
I guess that would be their opinion, and
I mean, opinions don't mean anything. We're in America.
That's exactly where, to me, as a former military person, I believe
Right on.
that their opinion is their American right. If they want to lower their flags or whatever they want to do, I believe that it is their right to do. That's their freedom of speech. They can't force us, but if their choice is to lower it for whatever reason they feel is necessary, that I think that there's a lot of people overseas who would respect that opinion. Whether it's ours or not, I think the United States has the right to decide what they want because of that.
We're here on 6th Street in downtown Austin, Texas on Cinco de Mayo to get people's take on not only the holiday, but how many activists use it to create racial division and artificial conflict in the nation. All right, so what's your take on Cinco de Mayo?
I think everybody ought to have Independence Day.
It's not a real Mexican holiday, so
Yes,
yeah.
it is. It's when we defeated the French.
Oh, the French, yeah, but
I'm like, it's when we defeated the French. Of course, it's a
now.
holiday. That's why we celebrate it.
well, it's
People think it's Independence Day, but it's not. Independence Day is the 16th of September.
Cinco de Mayo, it's anything, it's good. You know, it's really cool.
Beer.
Beer.
Yeah.
So is that how you typically celebrate it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I like Spanish. I like tacos and quesadillas. So, you know what I mean? I'm good like that.
It seems like every year on this holiday we hear reports from school students that are sent home for wearing American flags on Cinco de Mayo. Today we saw people trying to ban American flags from being shown. What's your take on that? It seems like there's a big assault on free speech.
I don't think anybody should do that because you're in America. I'm Mexican American, so I celebrate both. 4th of July is actually one of my favorite holidays.
Well, I don't know why they would. What's the argument?
They're suggesting that it's racist.
We're in America, so you can wear an American flag shirt any day you like.
Some people have been taught wrong and raised wrong, raised to hate. I believe hate should be outlawed. Raised to hate people, that should be outlawed. Because if we all get along, this would be a better world.
If people want to nitpick that much, they're really bored.
So you think we should be able to show it on any day of the year? The American flag, that is?
I think you were put on this earth to do anything you want to, and nobody should have to tell you anything that you don't want to do. So if I feel like putting on an American flag, that's what I'm gonna do.
If anything, like there should be, okay, you know how people like say there should be like a world peace under one flag, right? I say screw that. If you want world peace, there should be no flag at all. Screw it.
So you're saying it's kind of hypocritical then, correct?
for whatever reason, whoever is telling them they can't wear that, yeah, that's super hypocritical. No one's going to tell you to take off a Mexican flag shirt. You can wear whatever you want.
Most people think if I do it, it's okay. If you do it, it's not okay if I don't like what you're doing.
I don't think you need to bring any racial comments or any racial things into this American.
What would you say to people who would suggest that it's racist to show an American flag on Cinco de Mayo?
Get a life.
Well, we were wondering what people think about schools mandating that you can't wear an American flag t-shirt on Cinco de Mayo.
I think they shouldn't teach children that young to feel that kind of way about anything as far as the flag or anything else. Like, that's their choice. If they want to wear it, they should be able to.
Right. Well, what do you think about the court upheld that decision and said it didn't violate their First Amendment right to make the children not wear the American flag t-shirt? Does this offend you?
Yes, because that is what the Constitution's about.
Does it offend you that this man is...
Not at all. Why would it? We're standing right here with him. Why would it offend us? We'd walk off.
Jerseys.
Why do you think Americans are the only ones that are trying to figure out how we can stitch together all of our flags? Why is it wrong for Americans to be patriotic?
It's a generalization, though. I'm sure there's a Mexican guy just like me walking along with aviators on going, I wonder if we can stitch an American flag and a Mexican flag together. There's so many people in the world, you can't really generalize. Around the corner you might meet someone exactly the same as you or completely opposites.
Well, and I agree on our basic level we are all the same, but are you aware of any other countries that have this thing where they're trying to just please everyone of every other culture and taking away their patriotism?
I mean...
Name one country.
That's trying to include everyone?
Name one country that is going to lower their flags in praise of a holiday that they don't even actually celebrate in Mexico.
I guess I couldn't off the top of my head. I don't know. Maybe Canadians, though? I don't know. Can we count them in? But I don't know what they do it for. But honestly, it's, it's more for the money here. That's why. They sell drinks that way, so is what it is.
Hi, this is Cinco de Mayo today. You're aware?
Yes.
Cool. Does this item offend you today?
No.
Good. Why is that?
That never offends me.
Even on Cinco de Mayo, though?
It doesn't.
Some people might think that's racist.
I understand.
What do you think about, I feel like a lot of times with holidays and stuff, it seems like in America on just like our basic level, people are coming together. It's getting less racist, less divisive tactics. But now all of a sudden there's this huge push to say that certain ways, if you can't say fiesta, for instance, like a lot of colleges aren't allowed to have fiestas because it's, yes, and I guess it's like cultural appropriation of certain things. Does that offend you?
I mean, we've always been a diverse country, so to limit anybody on saying anything, whether it's fiesta or an American word or whatever it is, I mean, we have always been a melting pot. We have tons of different cultures, generation after generation, people have been coming, and I think that that's one of the best things about our country is that we should be able to celebrate everybody's ethnicity and different cultural beliefs, and that's the good thing about the United States, and so to try to limit that or take that away is just ridiculous.
I'm here to ask if, here on Cinco de Mayo, if this American flag offends you.
This American flag does not offend me, not one bit.
And why is that, sir?
Because I'm an American and I'm proud of it.
In California, they banned kids from wearing American flags on Cinco de Mayo, right?
I'm offended by that.
What do you think the USA's agenda is in lowering flags and telling people that their flag shirts are offensive and the court upholds that? What do you think is the agenda there?
In all honesty, I don't know the court case. I can't make a intelligent response to that. I don't know what prompted it. But as far as agendas, I was making reference to them doing their own country thing, their cultural thing. I think as far as us being in America, I think our ability to do whatever we want. And as personally as opposed to it as I am, that goes, and even as far as flag burning. I would fight for somebody's ability to do that in this country as their First Amendment right. I think freedom of speech should be given to anybody and everybody in this country, whether we agree with their opinion or not, because not everybody agrees with ours.
We wanted to ask you guys today if you are offended by this item on Cinco de Mayo.
What is it?
It's just a rolled up American flag here.
I am not offended by the American flag.
And in America, we should be able to wear whatever we want, eat whatever kind of food we want. We shouldn't be singled out on a specific day. It's not like we're going to go into Juarez and go around with American flags on the 4th of July.
I'm half Mexican, and I still think I should be able to wear whatever I want, whenever I want, because I'm also full American.
And you live in America.
And I live in America.
Right on, that's what I'm talking about. Another high five.
Yes, sir.
Patriot.
We live in America, so you should be able to express the way your beliefs, how you feel. If I had my American flag, I'd also be wearing my Mexican flag. I'm proud to be both, and my Puerto Rican flag. I'd wear all three. And so what? Just because it's Cinco de Mayo or Halloween or Christmas, same thing. Like, everybody has their own opinions, and at the same time, like, you should be able to do and wear what you want.
So you're not falling for the divide and conquer tactics. I feel like a lot of our politicians right now are pushing for certain political means, and they're kind of getting us to fight amongst each other with these divisive tactics. So you have not fallen for the divide and conquer.
Never.
Absolutely. All right. Yeah. Look at this. Enlightened people out here on the streets.
Now, today, of course, is Cinco de Mayo, and it's not just the U.S. government that is working against the interest of its own citizens. It's also the Mexican government. Just take a look at this story from CNN Money. Drug cartels are ruining Cinco de Mayo. And, of course, they're talking about how the prices of limes have gone skyrocketing through places like Calgary, Canada, where they see it going from 35 cents to $1.54 per lime. Now, why is that? Well, it turns out that it's because of the Knights Templar drug cartel. You would expect that the Mexican government would be trying to shut them down, but they haven't really done anything. So local businessmen got together with local citizens who were tired of being oppressed, bullied, and murdered by this drug cartel. They banded together to fight against them as a vigilante group. So what did the Mexican government do? Well, the Mexican government is telling them to stand down. That's right. The vigilantes who are organized to protect themselves against this violent drug cartel that is extorting and getting violent with the local people, they're telling them, stand down, don't protect yourself. So the Mexican government is not doing anything there. As a matter of fact, the Mexican government has mandated for years Gardasil vaccines. Here's a report from Jakari Jackson.
You know it's Cinco de Mayo.
I know it's Cinco de Mayo.
All right, so what does Cinco de Mayo mean to you?
It's a made-up holiday.
So do you guys know what Cinco de Mayo is all about?
No, I don't. I know it's not a real Mexican holiday.
Is it Mexican independence?
What it signifies is Mexico's win over French forces back in the 1800s.
Okay, so it's nothing to do with Easter.
No.
But as a Brit, I like to hear about French getting beaten.
I'm noticing your American flag T-shirt.
Yeah.
Because, you know, in the state of California, they had a situation around the city of San Francisco where people were kicked out of school because they wore an American flag T-shirt on Cinco de Mayo.
Really? I had no idea.
That's very interesting. It's really sad, too.
Why is it sad?
Well, I mean, we're in America. I mean, even though it's a Mexican, celebration or whatever, Independence Day, like, we're still American, you know?
I think you should be able to wear whatever kind of t-shirt you want.
Yeah, that's freedom of expression, freedom of speech. You should be able to express yourself and wear what you want without purposely offending people.
Let's talk about vaccines briefly. There's a big drug that's being pushed on females, especially in Mexico, and that's Gardasil. It guards against, supposedly against HPV. They're trying to give it to a lot of the schoolgirls around age 9 or 10. And there have been some health effects associated with Gardasil. I don't know if you guys keep up on the controversy. They got mad at Katie Couric because she talked about some of the adverse effects from Gardasil. Have you taken it?
No.
I don't know. I really haven't heard anything about that. I don't take that vaccine, obviously, because I don't know about it. But
I actually took that vaccine when I was younger, but I don't really know any of the controversial issues on it.
Cinco de Mayo. It commemorates Mexico's victory over French forces, but with Mexican school children being targeted by harmful pharmaceuticals such as Gardasil, and children here in the States being taught not to respect other people's cultures, there are still more victories to be won. You can find more reports at Infowars.com. And one final question, since you're over there on the other side of the pond. What do you think about Piers Morgan?
He's a bit of a and I'm quite glad he got sacked.
USA, USA, USA. That's the chants of the crowd in Boston, the cheers for the police state. Has anything really changed? We sent Dan Benandi to find out.
And today we're in Boston, Massachusetts, downtown, and we're going to ask the general public their thoughts about Operation Urban Shield that's taking place today. Multiple terrorism drills all over the city that involve federal agencies. Hi, do you know what the drills are for today?
For terrorist, like, attacks.
For terrorism.
Just general terrorism preparedness. For safety?
No, not quite.
The only thing I can think is maybe sort of conditioning people to accept military action sort of on the streets, just kind of see it as a normal thing, you know what I mean?
This exercise is great. It really showcases partnerships and working together, right, in different scenarios that would require first responders.
Does it make you feel safe for having armed military and federal agents police the streets?
Actually, yeah, it does.
It does.
Yes, it does.
Well, how do you feel when you see the blue lights behind you in your car?
Not really, because I'm a firm believer in what's going to happen is going to happen. You know what I mean?
It just seems out of place in Boston, and it always made me uncomfortable, but after last year, I'm sort of used to it again.
Do you think only the military should be allowed to carry guns?
Absolutely not.
I would say yes.
No, I'm from Texas. I think everybody should be able to carry a gun.
I feel it's the right for everybody to hold a gun and protect themselves.
I personally feel that everybody should be able to bear arms to protect themselves.
The Second Amendment says we have the right to bear arms, and the Constitution says that we have the right to overthrow a tyrannical government.
That's tough, because I also used to live in London, and they didn't have guns anywhere, and it was a big deal when there was any gun violence.
Honestly, I don't think anyone should be able to carry guns.
And do you think giving up some civil liberties just to prevent terrorism needs to be done in this day and age?
Wow, that's a deep question.
Yes, I think so.
I feel like it's a give and take situation. I feel like some liberties can be given up.
No. We have, though, but I don't think it has to be done.
If they could give actual facts on how that would help to prevent it, but other than that, I don't know.
We have our liberties, and we need to preserve them.
Do you think these drills are to condition the public to get ready for a militarized police state?
Absolutely.
Yes, I do.
I feel like it does, but I feel like a lot of other people, like families, it scares them, and it does probably affect the kids.
Yeah, that will.
Anytime you're holding a weapon, of course you want whoever is in the situation to be scared of you.
It's a very different pre-9/11 and post-9/11 are two completely different worlds.
And do you ever remember the police 20 years ago looking like they do today with the black military uniform?
Nah, I don't really remember that.
No,
I don't.
I remember the police were just the friendly neighborhood guys that they would help out.
Police departments all over the country are now getting tanks and armed vehicles like the military. What do you think they're getting ready for?
Another attack?
There's a thought of a gun grab, martial law.
Something big.
Maybe something is about to go down. That's what it sounds like.
Probably terrorist attacks.
Domestic terrorism is the reason they say they need all that stuff. But to come after the American people, basically.
Oh, no, I don't think they're that smart. We're giving them too much credit there.
There are still Americans who question and feel uneasy about federal agencies and the military doing the local police department's jobs. However, there are many Americans who are now being conditioned on a mass scale and giving up their civil liberties to accept a police state. Why? Because America has forgotten history. Those who do not know history are doomed to repeat it. And this is Dan Badandi from Boston, Massachusetts for Infowars.com.
Well, that's it for tonight's Nightly News. Join us again tomorrow night at 7 Central, 8 p.m. Eastern.